right. Well, good morning, everybody. We're about to get started on our first sales meeting for 2025. We're about to get jumping in here. So we are, I'm very excited. We have a new format for our sales meetings this year moving forward. So we're going to be doing some new things with it. One thing that came out of, well, okay, we back up. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker here. Our sales meeting format, like one thing that happened last month was we had some people, and there's been a lot of talk lately about, should I be a realtor? Should I not be a realtor? Did the realtors do us dirty? We lost a lawsuit. There's all this kind of talk going on. And I see a lot of people that are negative towards realtors. I see folks inside our industry that are negative, and I'm not shaming anybody. I think it's the job of the National Association of Realtors and our local boards and that kind of stuff to make sure that they're providing value. And so I've asked David.
He's the AE.
No, he's the CEO.
Oh, sorry.
And so I've asked David Sanders here to join us today. And now David is the CEO of Metro South Association of Realtors. And so we actually have multiple boards represented across the entire south side. Well, I mean, pretty much all Atlanta. We're Atlanta Board of Realtors. We're in just about every board there is. David is here to kind of talk to us a little bit. And I'm not necessarily going to try and grill you, but I do think that it is worthwhile to have this kind of conversation because I think it's healthy for us. As far as like full disclosure, I'm the vice president of governance at Metro South Association of Realtors. I am a very proud realtor. I believe in the mission of being a realtor. I love the fact that we have GAR forms. I think it's a big deal. I really like the relationships and the camaraderie, trust that I built over the years. But for a lot of folks, it all came from a sour taste from NAR. And has that been a challenge for you?
Certainly, absolutely. We've had to answer a lot of questions. Has anybody been to Ren Fair? By chance, the Renaissance Festival in Fairburn. Okay, well you haven't. So there's a thing. It's like medieval themed.
It's freakish. Yeah.
So you stick your head through a hole in a piece of wood, and guests get to pay money to throw tomatoes at you, right? So as long as we don't go there, and I know some of you can't throw any tomatoes today, we're good. I'm here to be grilled.
Okay.
So to speak. So I encourage it.
Well,
baptism by wildfire.
Oh, there we go. Okay, all right. I like the throw out. I like the reference. That works out really, really good. But like in today's day and age, like for a lot of folks, one of the big questions is realtors let us down, or NAR let us down. And I think first of all, you have to understand that there is an NAR. There's also a GAR. And then there's your local board. And most of our dues go just about roughly a third. It's kind of where those dues go kind of thing. And do you feel like NAR let us down?
I don't
either.
There's a lot of perspective that goes into that conversation. And of course, NAR's official stance is that they provided as much coverage for as many members as possible. So an important way to frame this to me, looking at other people's comments in this industry has been they targeted Keller Williams. The plaintiffs the plaintiffs targeted Keller Williams. They targeted Anywhere. They targeted these big companies, and NAR was named also. We also had to fight. So something that comes up in governance models is that you owe a fiduciary responsibility to your members, but sometimes you have a legal fiduciary responsibility to the corporation itself. So that is where a lot of those decisions came in. They have to protect the corporation because without NAR, there is no realtor. So I believe that the most powerful action happens at the local level, actually, not the state or the national. I think the biggest push for what we do is at the local level. But I think without the national, we can't have the support that we need for our advocacy goals. So I think they did what they had to do. There's probably many things they could have done better throughout the process. I don't believe they sold us out.
No, I don't either. The thing is that lawsuit wouldn't have happened in Georgia. It happened in Missouri because in Missouri, sellers were required to pay compensation to the buyer regardless.
Mhm.
And that's not a case here in Georgia. That hasn't been the way. And so once that happened and they got put to class action status, it was kind of like you're fighting a battle there. So David, why don't you kind of take us through, like, so is there value in being a realtor today? Because that's one of the questions that I get as broker is, do I need to join NAR, GAR, my local board? What value is it? You know, like, or is this organization dead and gone?
Well, I'd like to start from the top, if we can do that, just to give you my perspective. I was a sales agent. Then I
How
was a
about that?
team leader in Tennessee. And then I was a broker, what you would call an associate broker.
Yeah.
In my office, I wasn't the managing, but I was on a brokerage team. And I started looking for brokerage opportunities, which is exactly how I found myself next to Miss Carolyn Devons here. If you haven't met Carol or Devons, they're fantastic. This is our staff at MSAR. Do we have, I don't know, probably can't see the people that are on Zoom. Do we have anybody who has another job by chance that want, okay, I'm proud of you for saying that. So a lot of people call you a part-time agent. I want you to go back to them and say that is a sinful word. You are not, you are not a part-time agent. You're a part-time whatever else you do. So if your goal is to do that full-time. So I was a manager at Steak and Shake when I got into this business, and I would work 2 p.m. to like 1 a.m. at Steak and Shake. I would get up in the morning, work from like 8 or 9 to 1 p.m. and go to work. And I would answer calls while I was on the grill. I wasn't supposed to do that, but I did it. I did it because the world is full of game players and I wanted to be a game changer and I saw real estate as my way out. So I have been in your shoes. I have worked through all these different positions in real estate, which is kind of why I feel like I can talk about it from your perspective. So when it comes to what the Realtor organization actually does for you, there are a million things on this list, and I'm going to go through them individually. And there's a couple that I can sign a dollar amount to, because when you look at buying GAR forms versus just paying for a membership, or there are probably some people that won't admit to it, but they might use somebody else's GAR form. You're not supposed to do that, but I know somebody does it.
Hopefully not.
Not here, not in
No.
here, but somebody out there.
We don't play that game.
You're gonna ask those questions, what's the value versus dollars for dollars, what does this membership get me? And at the very end, there's one that's more important than every single other one that's probably not talked about as much. So before we get there, let's go back one.
Back one.
I want to encourage people, if you haven't been to our website, msarboard.com, you can take notes based on today. I don't recommend it because everything I'm about to say is listed under this Join MSAR tab. It will have a list of all of our benefits, which is exactly the next slide that Alan is going to get to. We also have this under Connect. If you push the Connect button, you will see the opportunity to download our app, instructions on how to download our app, and instructions on other ways that you can connect with our membership to get more plugged in, including Facebook groups, all that good stuff. Let's go to the next. So we kind of touched a little bit on the snapshot changes in the industry. Not only do we have the lawsuit from NAR and many other pending lawsuits,
A bunch.
but we have the markets starting to change. Maybe you're starting to notice days on market go up. Maybe you're starting to notice things aren't going for 20,000 over list price anymore. And we're sort of getting
We're going to
back,
talk about that a little bit later. So yeah,
we're sort of getting back to that more stabilized market. Would you say that's true for McDonough?
we're heading into balance. Yes.
Yes. So we're going back to a more balanced market, which means for some agents, probably none in this room or on Zoom, it's going to be harder to sell real estate because a lot of people got in the business when things were just going crazy. You could just list a property, you could take pictures on your phone, boom, it's sold. We are moving from that to a world where you are going to need more tools. We hope to provide those tools. So what MSAR can do for you, we want to bring it back to bolstering your business. So the first, and probably what many people in this room would say is the biggest opportunity, is educational opportunities. I disagree with that, but many people, I mean, it's a wonderful benefit, but I don't think it's the most important one. So our CE courses, we offer an average of 3, sometimes 4 CE courses a month. It works out to over 30 courses a year. If you were to go to ceshop.com through an affiliate program, put in your discount code, get 30% off. Each one of those would be approximately $24.50 per class. If you took 30 classes, that's $735. If you took every one of those classes at MSAR, it's completely free of charge. It's only $15 if you're a non-member, by the way. You can always show up in that capacity. That right there is a savings compared to membership dues of $471. Additionally, I put show-stopping events. These events aren't just about the glamour, although our Circle of Excellence committee believes they are about the glamour. So we have our Circle of Excellence celebration for people that sell at least $1 million in sales every year. We have YPN networking events. Alan, you're part of the YPN. You were there.
I am,
You were
you
there.
know, because when you think of young people's network, I mean, young professionals, you think of me.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I do. And you only have to be young at heart. We have people of all ages that are part of the YPN. It is completely complimentary. And the last thing we did, we're trying to breathe some more life into it. We literally went to a bar, wine or whiskey on a Wednesday. That was the whole event. And the idea was just to network with each other, have a good time, and talk about what we can do to help each other's businesses. So GAR Day at the Dome, this goes into one of our most important.
It's coming up in February.
Yes, it's a picture on our website. There's a picture of a bus. You can sign up to ride the bus. We will bus you from MSAR, so you don't have to pay $80 a day parking in Atlanta to go to the Day at the Dome event. At that event, we will have the opportunity not only to tour the state capitol, but to meet with legislators that are making decisions in real time about what goes on in your market. I want to talk a lot about advocacy. Maybe you're starting to figure out what I think the biggest benefit is later. Social gatherings, networking, mixers. Every time I turn around, this board is like, hey, let's put this together. Let's put this together, including headshots,
We like to
vision
party.
boards.
Yeah.
When people love to bring out the orange juice and the champagne and make some mimosas,
Yeah.
that's totally fine. RPAC gatherings, community days. And then I want to highlight a little bit here about our partnered organizations. We partner with Metro South Atlanta Realtists, which is a separate organization. We try to bolster their membership as well. Their whole goal is democracy and housing. So we try to share resources, help them. And we also try to help our Women's Council of Realtors. We have a lot of partnerships there. And then this is not on the list yet, but we are forming a Toastmasters chapter. If you know what Toastmasters is, it is a public speaking group where you get together, you work on your public speaking and your leadership skills. That is free. I'm sorry, that is not free of charge. That is $120 a year, but it's open to anybody, not just MSAR members. We're working to build that as well. So I'll move on. Affiliate business partners. We've worked very, very hard to bolster the Affiliate Business Council. It's a new council at Metro South to increase who our affiliates are, what they look like. I know we traditionally think of affiliates as mortgage companies, pest control, home inspectors, but who else do you need? When you're a realtor, you might need a mover, you might need photographers, you might need somebody to come and refinish the floors. Really, anybody who has a hand in doing anything for residential and commercial real estate should be an affiliate. And we want to try to become your one-stop shop too. When you say, I need this person, we have a wall of people that we recommend. And these aren't people that just pay their dues. These are people that we talk with on a daily basis. They have to have some sort of established trust for them to be within our sphere. So we're working on building that. The Affiliate Business Council further actually has a voice, not a direct seat to vote on the board of directors, but they have a committee where they get to control what happens within their sphere of affiliate events, promotions, and membership benefits. So we're trying to build that to make that a better benefit for the members. Even in the affiliate sphere, they're asking the question, how do we make money? But they're asking the bigger question every single time, how do we better support our members?
We gotta go faster, Dave.
Okay, we can do that.
All right.
All right. We have a podcast. It's called Nexus. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Patreon. We talk about all things real estate. We have a member business center. If you didn't know, the member business center, you can stop by the Morrow office anytime you need. Print off a listing, do whatever you need. That office center is there for you. We offer a Reginald McCrary scholarship twice a year. Your daughter was a recipient of last year's, and that is open to all students of all realtors in Metro South. We have annual awards. You can see them there. And I want to talk about local, state, national advocacy because it is the biggest, absolute most important benefit to be a realtor. So recently the state passed a law increasing the criminalization of squatters. They fought a proposed legislation that would increase or that would place a commission on your real estate sales commissions. They fought it, totally destroyed it. Then on the national level, when we think about the hurricanes, they continue to advocate for funding for the National Flood Insurance Program, which affects 22,000 communities in the United States. The Realtor advocacy arm, that $25 you pay to RPAC is the most important thing that we do to keep predatory legislation out of our local, state, and national.
The reason we worked during COVID is because of GAR. You know, like a lot of states didn't have a really strong state association the way we do. And, you know, when COVID hit, a lot of states, they shut down for a year or more. And the governor deemed us as an essential workers. And so boom, we jumped right back in and our market rebounded big time.
Tying back into GAR, the work that GAR has done, especially ahead of the lawsuit, similar to advocacy, but a little separate from that. I came from a state where we had instructors that would teach that the buyer's rep form was not worth the paper that it was printed on. We have these states who were in these positions. They were teaching bad information that doesn't reflect agency law, that doesn't reflect consumer choice. And Georgia has just been so far ahead of that curve.
Believe that or not, we're cutting edge.
We are cutting edge,
Yeah.
believe it or not. So obviously email communications, the Facebook sites that pages that we run, our membership app, all of that is managed by our communications director. So we try to say, hey, here's a million things that you can do to contact us. But at the end of the day, pick up the phone, call us. You'll get sweet Miss Carol for a limited time only. She'll take care of you. We have our complimentary tech helpline available for.
Actually, this is something I wasn't that aware of.
We're going to work on putting more information out there.
Yeah, but as a realtor, if you have your computer doesn't work, you don't have to go to Geek Squad. You know, you can call the tech line.
Yeah, you can call it or you can access a chat box, I believe they have.
Yep.
And they will walk you through whatever issue you have. Of course, we have member discounts with NAR, statewide statistics with GAR. Do you have one more or is this our last one?
There's one more. No, that's it.
Okay.
The only other thing is GAR forms. So
Right, and GAR form. So the GAR form package is $349 in and of itself compared to a full primary realtor membership is $471. So in my opinion, if you take the cost of the GAR forms, add it to the cost of the classes, that's $1,000 versus paying $471. Of that, we only keep $170, by the way. And I think that is the biggest value to your membership. But moreover than every benefit that I've asked is direct access. So I brought my literal business cards with my actual personal cell phone number. I'm going to leave them here for you. Any questions that any member has, any resource, anything that you want the board of directors to hear, any concern you have about what's going on in your business, we're an open door. I know Alan will direct every single communication.
zero problems with that.
We want to be open for you in this time of change. We want to be here for you. We want to support you in whatever way we can.
Thank you very much, David.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. You know, we don't shame you if you aren't a realtor. That's not the purpose here. What I wanted David to kind of bring today is what's the value of being a realtor, and is it worthwhile to be a realtor or not? For me, it is. That's a very personal decision for everyone, and I'm not knocking anybody that isn't. We have two completely separate firms for that reason. But that being said, I have a lot of folks ask, so I really appreciate you taking some time, David, and visiting with us. And so if anybody wants to hit up Dave, we'll put it in the chat, that kind of stuff too, if they want to hit David up, and we'll share all this kind of information.
I do have a comment to make now. For folks that are thinking about it, my comment to you is that if we don't have an industry, then there's no regulation to help our industry.
Well, I mean, I think
And
you're exactly right.
And I think for us to say, well, we're just gonna go without, my problem with that is that we have no representation, you have no voice at all. You know, how big or small.
Yep.
So for me, this is the right thing to do if you're practicing this full time. Should be your full-time job, your other job is your part-time job, like David said, but if you have no representation, you will never be heard. And no changes will ever be made on your behalf of you or your client. So.
If I could add one thing in
No.
that vein, no, okay. You know, we see a lot of legislation that comes when I talk about these RPAC dollars. That voice, I think, is so important. I think there were, in my last DI meeting that I had, there were 30 states that had proposed legislation against Asian buyers because of concerns about the Chinese government owning property. And it is the work of the association to remind these people that that's a violation of fair housing law. We also have, before it was recently ruled in the Supreme Court, that sex included sexual orientation and gender identity. You had 28 states where you could legally, not as a realtor, but legally not work with someone because of their sexual orientation. And the realtors have always fought to provide extra protection for those that are discriminated against, and we want to continue.
Yeah, all the marginalized groups. Yep.
Yes. All right, thank you so
Well,
much.
thank
Welcome to hang out, Dave. So, all right, thank you, David.
If you are a realtor, I won't know if you're not, grab a realtor pen, grab my business card.
Thank
all
you,
so
Dave, for
much.
coming. I appreciate
All right.
that. Hey,
All right.
DRB's gonna be here in a minute, so if I go ahead and
Yeah,
start.
I gotta get. All right, so I want to jump into what's happening in our market right now because we are in a shifting market. And I want to show you real numbers because I think it's important that right now, probably more than I've seen in the last several years, we're getting a lot of conversations from folks who are saying, what's happening in the market? What's going on in the market? What's going on? What's happening? And I think that we have to be able to answer these questions intelligently so that we're not looking lost here. But I also don't want to be one of these, it's like, here's what I want you to tell you. I want you to see what the numbers are and what the actual data is. And so first thing is that right now we're still seeing where sales prices are up. We're not seeing property value depreciation at all. Matter of fact, here in Georgia, we'll continue to see. So the top number is Georgia MLS. And so we ended up 5.6 up, 5.6% up in Georgia MLS, FMLS 4.2% up. Is that good or bad? That's healthy, is what it is. For the last 50 years, real estate has appreciated 4.4% a year. So we're in a very normal place when it comes to appreciation. And I'm very thankful for that because if it's double digits, that's really dangerous. That's where we end up running into a bubble and a lot of price concerns, that kind of thing. So Freddie Mac, we expect house prices to continue to grow, although at a slower pace. And I think it's exactly what we're looking at for the next year. Modest property value appreciation. So, nationwide, they're looking at around 3% property value appreciation. I think Georgia, we're going to be in the 4 to 5% range. We're a little bit higher on appreciation just because we have a lot more people that move into the state. We have positive equity on that kind of thing. And so we're also a really good value in Georgia. So our days on market are up. Y'all seeing that right now, right? Yeah, we're seeing that right now in Georgia MLS, our average listing is 86 days, and FMLS, it's right at 50 days. So we're seeing where that is increasing. So is that changing how we're like when we're listing properties? When you know that the average days on market is 86 days, you have to be very clear about your expectations with your clients. Hey, this is not the summer of 2021 when we could just throw a listing out there into the MLS and let people fight each other like rabid dogs for it. That's not what's going on right now. So we have to be really clear about what's happening in our marketplace with our buyers and with our sellers. Right now in Georgia MLS, we have 4.2 months of standing inventory. In FMLS, it went down. It was 4. Now it's down 3.4, but less people list in December. That's where that number comes from. But we're sitting on a little more than 4 months of standing inventory. How many months of standing inventory do we need to have a balanced market? 6. Now this is overall. Inside our marketplace, it's heavily divided on price. Like a house that's listed under 200,000. Are there a lot of buyers looking for that? Mm-hmm. Is that a balanced market? No. How about over 800,000? There's a lot more properties than there are buyers for that one. So just understand there are differences that come along those lines here. New listings are up substantial. New listings are up 22% in FMLS, in Georgia MLS, 23% in Georgia MLS. Is this good or bad? For our buyers, is this a really good thing? And overall for our industry, the more listings y'all remember a couple of years ago, there's no houses to sell. We need more inventory. We finally have inventory. This is a great thing for us to be able to talk about right now. Now, overall, our total active inventory, it's up 33% in Georgia MLS, 40% in FMLS. So previous slide was new listings. This is our total inventory. Does that seem scary to anybody? Well, for me, just looking at the economies of it, residential real estate is based on supply versus demand. So what do we have now? A lot more of. We have a lot more supply, right? So overall, for the year 2023 versus 2024, the year we just ended, we ended up with inventories up 34% in Georgia. If we have a lot of inventory, do we have to worry about prices dropping though? Yeah, we do, because but are we really there right now? And what I mean by that is, this is where we are, our total inventory right now. Yes, our inventory is up 34% over last year. We are still down 9% from where we were pre-COVID. Y'all remember 2020, before all the hubbub with bats and all that kind of stuff, COVID, all that kind of stuff going on? Was it a buyer's market or seller's market there? It was buyer. It was a seller's market even back then, kind of thing. So this is why I'm saying I don't see property values really dropping off, because we still aren't there. Yes, inventory is increasing, and I'm glad to see inventory increasing. So inventory is going to continue to grow this year. We are going to reach a balance this year. Okay, we're looking, and so, you know, if they're looking at 11% inventory increase overall for the year, we ended up last year still down 9%. We're gonna be back where we were by the end of the year. Is this good or bad? For your buyers, is this good?
Yeah.
For the sellers, more challenges, right? I mean, like for me, this is where those listing agents that just did the basic 4, you know, sign the yard, lock box on the door, in the MLS, pray. That's all they did. Those folks are going to really, really struggle in this market, because you have to get out there and you really got to market properties. I mean, like we're going back old school, right? Which is good. It's how you stand out. All right. So this year we are looking at a trend of rising inventory. And so I completely agree. You're going to see more inventory coming on this year. That's going to make a lot more challenges for listing agents. It's going to make a lot more opportunities for buyers. So not only are we going to see more inventory, we're going to see more expired listings. I want to point out some information about expired listings. I'm not normally a big expired listings guy, but I'm trying to point out the fact that there is an opportunity in expired listings, especially right now and going into the next year. We see a lot more inventory coming on. Therefore, we're going to see a lot more expired listings, correct? Right? Over half the expired listings that just in the first week in the US, kind of thing, half the expired listings got relisted. Right? However, a third of the new listings got relisted with a new agent. So there's a couple of lessons to be learned here. If you go out and you price your property too high, what's going to happen? It's going to sit. And when it sits, what's going to happen then? They're going to fire you. Okay. I mean, you may be able to maintain a relationship and hopefully they're going to let you relist. But what we see is that a third of the time when a listing gets expired, it gets relisted with another agent. Now, the other thing is, once a property gets relisted, 60% of the time it sells. So relisting is a really good thing, right? But the reason that it sells is because once they relist, they lower the price. So if you're going to be effective at working on expired listings, you have to be effective at talking about pricing, being able to show comparables, pull a comparative market analysis. These are the sales and listings. This is what a buyer's willing to pay for in here. Gone are the days of look, I think I really want 400,000 for my house. Okay, I'll list it. Okay, it's going to sit there. They're going to fire you. They're going to find someone that's going to relist it for 350. Kind of thing. That's just where we're at. We have to be honest, right? Because even once they relist, 62% of the folks who are relisting, they're relisting at a lower price and then they're selling. That's the big kicker here, right? Overall pending sales were down for December. We kind of bounced back and forth on pending sales. Closed sales, however, ended up. It's interesting, we ended up in more closed sales in December than we did the last 2 years, actually. But largely because what happened in October and November. Mortgage rates went down. So we saw a bump in sales in December that came out of that number. So overall, we are looking at more sales to happen next year. We finished about 4.6 million sales across the entire US. Looking to end up being around 5.1%, 5.1 million homes sold over the next year. That's still a lot of houses sold. It is an improvement. Please don't wait for the market to turn. The market's already turning. Interest rates are not our friend, but the market is already turning. So, speaking of interest rates and mortgages in general, I want to bring up a couple of different things about mortgages just to bring you up. First thing is, we've had moratoriums and folks that have where their student loans have not impacted their credit scores for the last 4 years. Right? Ever since COVID, there's been multiple stops out there going on. If you have someone that is interested in buying a home but has student loans, in the past that didn't show up on their credit report. Starting January 1 this year, guess where it shows up at? On their credit report. Now, if they'll go and reach out, they can do rehabilitation, they can do consolidation, but they can't take advantage of any of these programs or income-driven repayment, student loan forgiveness, teacher loan forgiveness. They can't do any of those unless they get active, unless they have the student loan up to date. Shoving your head in the sand has worked for the last 4 years for folks with student loans. It's not going to work going ahead. And so if you have a borrower that is not being proactive, it's going to bite them on the butt, because if they're in default, they can't get a student. They're not going to get an FHA or a VA loan anyway. But it's going to impact their credit. So please reach out to your folks and let them know. Now, are we happy with where mortgage rates are right now? No, I would say absolutely not. We aren't. Right now we're sitting on about 6.91. How's that compared to what we've really kind of averaged? Kind of normal, right? We all remember the days of 3% mortgage rates. Those, not everyone on the ground. Sorry. I apologize to everyone online that I just knocked off. I try not to do that again. All right. So the reason I'm putting this out is largely because, we're looking at mortgage rates declining more gently than we kind of thought. Last year, we were looking at mortgage rates being down into the 5s. Now we're looking at mortgage rates moving down into the lower 6s. It's kind of what it's looking like for the forecast. Now, nobody has a crystal ball. None of us know exactly what's going to happen. And do I feel like rates are going down? They are going to go down. I really do believe that. But I think it's best if we don't overpromise and underdeliver either. I think we have to know that interest rates are going to be somewhere in the 6s is kind of what I'm looking at for the next year. I think we need to be clear about that and not necessarily, paint this unbelievable picture about what's not the reality that we don't really see happening. So, mortgage rates have averaged over 6 for the past 24 months. However, there has been a shift in our buyers. They're no longer waiting or expecting mortgage rates to drop. Look, life happens. I don't care if you have a really low interest rate. I don't care if you want a 3% interest rate. If you go get married, what do you need? What do you want to do? You want to buy a house? Oh, you know what? Hey, we got twins on the way. You're gonna go buy a house, or are you gonna be like, no, I'm just gonna keep waiting? We have a lot of folks who keep saying, you know what? I want to time the market. I want to wait. Those kind of things. That's not where the real value comes from here. See, every year, overall, property values appreciate. We talked about it earlier. Property values appreciate at 4.4% a year the last 50 years. We keep seeing folks who are like, I want to wait for interest rates to come down. I want to wait for prices to come down. Now, we've looked at interest rates and we've looked at prices. Do I see either one of those going down a lot? No. However, where does wealth in the United States come from? It comes from home ownership. It comes from owning real property. That's where it comes from. So time in the market beats timing the market. always a very small group of people that can time the market. And those folks are just lucky, right? The folks who can buy low, sell high. Everybody wants to buy low and sell high. But it's not about trying to time the market. Do you remember when the market, I mean, even if you weren't necessarily in real estate, but we were in real estate back in 2007. Y'all remember what happened to our real estate market? Even let's say 2006, before the market crash. Y'all remember what was going on with property values, real estate prices, that kind of stuff. Y'all remember those days? Yeah, now we had a big drop off, right? Yeah, I'm dating myself. But we had a big drop off. However, if I could go back and buy more real estate during that time when real estate was really highly priced, I would gobble it up. Because how much appreciation have we had over the last 5 years? 50%, 54% appreciation over the last 5 years alone. Now that's not normal. 4.4% is normal. But if property is appreciated 4.5% a year, and I own a home for 10 years, how much appreciation have I just gained? 44%. Okay, let's just cut to the chase on the math thing, right? I know all we normally want to do is calculate compensation. But what I'm saying is that this has to be our message moving forward. It's not about us trying to go and teach people to time the market. We don't have to go be like, hey, rates are dropping. I don't see rates dropping. I see rates moderating a little bit. I see prices moderating. I see inventory increasing. These are all great things that we need to be talking about, but we need to be talking about the power of home ownership and what's really going on there, because folks still want to buy homes. We can't let ourselves get into this mindset of, oh, interest rates are high, we're not going to do well. That's wrong. So I want to wrap up with just a couple of things here really quickly. So first thing is we did our Christmas toy drive this year, and we got like hundreds and hundreds of toys. So like, we had the boxes set up, we did the casino night. And then we support this little volunteer fire department, and they go out and they take the fireman who gains the most weight over the year. He gets stuck in the Santa suit. And then they take somebody's wife and she's Mrs. Claus, and then they dress somebody up as Grinch, and they go back into all these woods and they bring toys to the little kids that we brought. And here's just some of the pictures of them bringing the toys to the little kids. I mean, like, you just can't beat those smiles right there. And so from the bottom of my heart, I want to tell you thank you. This means a lot to them, but it means a lot to us. And thank you so much for participating in this, because like that's the folks who did that. So. All right, sales meetings. Sales meetings are different now. If you noticed, I kind of went through and done my bit, but I'm wrapping this up. Normally in the past, you had a hard time shutting me up. I tended to run really long. And so what we do is we're changing sales meetings to make them a lot more inclusive at the individual office level, because that's where your individual branch managers have so many different things going on. So everyone in every office has different events happening at every single time. We're going to start communicating those out. Like here, we're going to be bowling for dollars here in a minute, doing some different things at the local level. So I just kind of wanted to say, look, this is what we're doing moving forward. We want to make where the individual office, the branch managers, like Melissa has worked really hard to get everything ready to go. And so we're gonna have a bunch of different things that we're doing over the next year, but please let us know what you like and what stinks, because this is for you guys. We want to be here to facilitate your growth. We want to help you sell more real estate. We want to provide value for you, training, education, information, all those kind of things, but just know that we're here for you. And we really do appreciate and love you guys so very much. So hold on one second. So here's our top sales, and now we're going to jump into our local offices. So yeah, come on down.